sure to check out the xreport.net. I repeat, the xreport.net for exclusive sports content written by yours truly and fellow X Report writers, previous episodes of our lovely podcast, and other videos on our YouTube channel entitled The X
I
Report.
said Malik and I did do a way too early NFL award prediction. And it was a lot of fun as well as full of some inaccuracies, but it is what it is. We can't tell the future. So we're going to do that same thing. So mind you, this is July 10th, 2019, 5:36 p.m. Central Time. The season does not start for another month and a half. So we just throwing shots in the dark, and hopefully one of them works. So let's start off with the top MVP. Ethan, who you got winning MVP?
His name is Russell. Last name Wilson. None other. I mean, he's already basically been putting up MVP caliber seasons for the past 2 years. It just so happened that last season, a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes went donkey wheels on the whole league. So I'm going Russell.
That's crazy because I said Russell Wilson too. I think that he's shown more and more what he can do, how he has had to be the centerpiece of the Seahawks offense, especially considering when he first got there, they had Marshawn Lynch, had a tremendous defense. But it seems each season they're losing more and more pieces. Now it is his time to really get all the credit that he deserved. I mean, like you were saying, the last couple of seasons, he's been putting on tremendous stats, tremendous performances. And honestly, you could make the case that take away Patrick Mahomes, he is in the MVP conversation. The year before that, he was in the MVP conversation, especially if you look at last year's Seahawks team and the fact he brought them to 10 wins and a playoff berth. Crazy. Nobody thought that they would do that. So Russell is also my pick for MVP. I can't wait to see what he does. Let's move on to Offensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go Ezekiel Elliott.
Any reason?
And I mean, he's been putting up great numbers, and I think that the Cowboys are playing with something to prove, and he's the driving force for that offense. So I feel like he's going to put up amazing numbers.
I have the same position. I literally have the same division, but I'm going
Saquon
up north. Yeah, I gotta go Saquon. I think that this year you can say what you want about Eli, you can say what you want about Daniel Jones. In my opinion, I don't think either of them really are ready to start for anybody. And so Saquon is going to go bananas. He had a huge season last year, but I think his role is only going to expand because of what's going on at quarterback, and the receiving core has some questions along with it. I think that Saquon winning Offensive Rookie of the Year and then winning Offensive Player of the Year, one is only right because of the role that he's about to have. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes multiple snaps at quarterback, does some wildcat things, as well as throws for more touchdowns. So I got Saquon winning it. All right, let's talk defensive player. Who you got?
For Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going Mr. Donald again because three-peat because it's proven no one in the National Football League can block this man. Double team, single, chip, help. He still gets to the quarterback and he's still wreaking havoc on offensive lines.
All right, I am going to say Von Miller. The reason why I'm going Von Miller is one, opposed to my colleague, Mr. Tate. I still feel that he is the best outside linebacker in the league. And I think that with Vic Fangio coming into the fold, they're now going to prioritize that defense. They are now going to make that defense not necessarily the juggernaut they were in 2015, but they are still going to be stout. They're still going to be talented, and I think that he's going to be in even more positions to succeed. I mean, even with the lackluster players around him, he has been insanely solid, put up really good numbers, was top 5 in sacks this past year. I think that he is about to go off this year and put up even better numbers as well as having a really good relationship to his head coach. All right, let's move on to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Me personally, this was the hardest award for me to pick, but who you got?
It's hard for me too, but honestly, when it comes down to this award, it's really only two positions that ever really wins it. It's quarterback and running back. So I'm going to have to go with Kyler Murray because coming in, he has the best system in place because it's a system quintessentially in place, designed specifically for him. So I feel like he's going to put up good enough numbers to get Offensive Rookie of the Year.
This was hard because similar to what you were saying about it's usually two positions that end up getting it. And because the quarterbacks come with so many questions this year, the running backs have a lot of questions too, especially aside from Josh Jackson. There was so many questions about, well, what is Darrell Henderson going to be, Benny Snell, yada, yada, yada. So I went against the grain and I picked a tight end. I said Noah Fant, similar to the reasons why I have high expectations for him. I think that he is going to wind up being one of the biggest centerpieces, if not the centerpiece of the Denver Broncos offense. I think that right now Courtland Sutton is fine, but you're still waiting on him to hit that pinnacle. Philip Lindsay is cool, but he's injury prone and he's a small back. Emmanuel Sanders is getting up there in age and he's coming off a torn Achilles. I think that if he and Joe Flacco can get this relationship going early, the sky's the limit for this kid. I think that he's a physical beast. I mean, offensive playmaker, like I said, had over 20 touchdowns in his career at Iowa, which is not common for a tight end. I think
Iowa got them tight ends on.
Last 3 tight ends to come out, Hockenson, Font, and Kittle have been tremendous. So I think that Noah Font has mad potential to win this award. All right, let's talk defensive rookie of the year.
I'm going Devin White of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he's like you said, he's a plug-and-play starter. And typically, linebacker is one of the positions that you can come in and, like, instantly have success in. And he has all the tools to be a successful inside linebacker, so I'm going with Devon.
My boy. Man, I love that pick. But I didn't say Devin. I would love for him to win it, but I actually said Jonathan Abram. Like another guy who I have high expectations for. I mean, the Raiders secondary is a joke. Their whole defense is a joke, but their secondary, it leaves much to be desired. I feel like not only is Jonathan Abram going to give them a boost because of his play, but because of his leadership. I think that he's going to take over the reins as the leader of that defense and get things together. I think that they're going to be a much better unit because he's there. I think his numbers are going to be tremendous. I think that he is going to light a fire amongst his teammates to get them going like he did at Mississippi State. And I think that he will be on the 3rd safety in NFL history to win this award. All right, let's move on. Who do you think is going to have the best offensive line this year?
Who do I think is going to have the best offensive line? I'm trying to think what's the choices.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens. Here's why. 2 solid young bookends in Orlando Brown Jr. at right tackle, and then at left tackle you have Ronnie Stanley. 2 really solid pieces there at guard. You are still putting the piece together. Of course, you have Marshall Yanda on the right side. Left side is pretty open, but I do think that either Alex Lewis or Ben Powers can step in and be much better. And then at center, you have what you need in Skura. I think that the Ravens, because they're about to be such a run-heavy team, they're going to have a strong unit, which they did last year. I think it's only going to get better as their offense continues to evolve around Lamar and his skill sets.
I'm just gonna go with the reliable inside the Cowboys.
But they got injuries.
I feel like they always still have a strong line, so
Not a bad choice though. Not bad, especially if everybody can stay healthy. All right, clutch performer of the year. Who do you think is gonna come in the clutch most often?
Aaron Rodgers, because he comes in clutch basically all the time.
He is clutch. I don't disagree with you. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers as well. I think that because they have a better defense, at least on paper, not including Zadarius Smith, I'm sorry. I think that they are going to still be in much closer games. They're not going to be in positions where he's going to have to score 40 points or he's going to lose. So I think that if he comes down to the final drive, Aaron Rodgers is not the guy you want to have the ball. So I'm going to agree with you there. All right, let's talk comeback player of the year.
Comeback. Who was hurt?
Not even hurt, but just like have had a bad career, not really impressed, at least the past couple of seasons.
Gerald McCoy.
Really? All right, why Gerald?
Because I feel like he's going to be motivated because of the whole being thrown to the wayside with Tampa Bay, and he's going to start playing some of his best ball he's played in a while.
I'm not mad at that. I have his former teammate, quarterback Jameis Winston. Jameis has been up and down in his career, to say the least. I would still take him over Marcus Mariota, but that's neither here nor there. I think that Jameis is due for a big year, and I just feel like a big reason why he hasn't had that is because he hasn't had good coaching thus far. But I think with Bruce Arians coming in, Bruce Arians changes the guard. Bruce Arians, you see what he did in Arizona. I think he helps make the Bucs a legitimate team, especially offensively. I think that this year Jameis Winston is able to limit his mistakes, even though Deshaun Jackson is out the door. I think players like Chris Godwin are going to be able to step up. I think that my man who they got drafted out of Harvard is going to have a really good year, and other players on the roster such as an O.J. Howard are going to step up. I think Jameis is going to be better adapt to read the field as well as having a much better run game that he's had. So I got Jameis winning comeback. I think he can do it. And finally, Coach of the Year. Who do you think is walking away with it?
Coach of the year. I'm going to go Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. Why you got Sean McVay?
Because I feel like they're still going to have a repeat of the success that they had. I don't think they're going to be as good, but I think they're still going to be a good team.
Super Bowl?
Playoffs.
I see.
Maybe a deep playoff run. I don't say Super Bowl.
I'm scared of the Rams in the playoffs because they play terrible, especially their offense just major downgrade. But I am going to say another NFC coach, and I'm going to say a new coach. I got Bruce Arians, similar to how I was describing Jameis Winston. I think that Bruce Arians is exactly what they need. They need a tough coach, a no-nonsense coach who is going to put his team in positions to succeed. And I feel like the Bucs are a team that has a lot of potential. Just a couple of seasons ago, they were in talks of winning the NFC South because of all their additions and because what they did their previous offseason, just to find out they did nothing. I think that this time around, they're going to start making moves. I think that their players that they have are going to get better. Todd Bowles being there is going to help make that defensive better. And with Bruce Arians overseeing everything, watch out for the Bucs. I don't think the Bucs are going to be an easy win, a game that you can just chop up as a victory on your schedule.